from restaurants to beauty to financial side. We are looking for it all. Hey, and welcome back to Tears to Purpose Real Talk. I am one of your hosts, Elder Lakia Barnette, and I'm here today with
Miss Hubbard. Thanks everyone for coming back. We enjoy you all enjoying our show. So continue to come back. Thank you.
Yes, and we are so excited today because we have the lovely author Lakia Gordon here with us today as well. She is kicking off with us with the show. We are so glad she accepted our invitation to come and bless us with her story and all the positive endeavors that she is embarking in this season of her life. So I hope y'all had a wonderful Mother's Day. Did y'all?
Yeah.
So Mother's Day was a rough day.
She is embarking in this season of her life.
Definitely was a rough day.
Miss Hubbard, how did you enjoy your Mother's Day?
I had a spectacular Mother's Day. It was very nice. My girls actually cooked for me, and my little girl, which is down there with you, she came up and surprised me. So that was the best gift ever right there.
Oh.
So we had a good time.
Yes, indeed. My sister-in-law, she cooked, and I've just been around family. Family is everything, I believe. So shout out to all the mothers. Now, just in case nobody told you happy Mother's Day, happy belated Mother's Day. So I pray that everybody had a good Mother's Day. So y'all know how we do. I love word of the days or sayings of the day. So something came to mind earlier before the show came, and this one is: the past will not dictate my future. That is what came to mind. So when you hear that, what do you guys hear in that? The past will not dictate my future. Because I think a lot of people get it twisted. Just because my past is my past don't mean that's going to be my future, right? Like, really. So.
That's right. That's right. And a lot of people judge you because they knew you then. They knew how you were then. But that has nothing to do with what you are or what you're doing now. So, people try to bring your past up. Okay, well, that was then. This is not me. That's not me. This is me now. So I don't look at my past because you can't. That's why it's still past. It's behind you. Look forward to the future. There you go.
Absolutely, I agree. It's nothing you can do about that. Your past is done, and it's a big part of who you become. Nothing happens for no reason. God has purpose in everything he does. So if you experience something, you did something, I own mine. They can't condemn you when you own it. Yeah, that was me, but this is now.
Absolutely. You said it best. I'm telling y'all. So I hope and I pray that no one is allowing their past to stop them from moving forward into their future. I know that people can speak into your life negativity, and you can hear it. And it really can stagnate your growth if you allow it to, right? And it can really make you not want to move into your future because you're so worried about what people are going to say or how people are going to think or what you have done. Your story is your story, and I'm sticking to it. That's what you got to say. My story is my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, and I love, Ikea, that you mentioned that it was whatever you had to go through. That was your journey, right? So nobody can take it away from you at all. So I pray that this little piece helps someone on today. You guys continue to share. Tag all your friends, your family, your loved ones, your enemies. They need to be blessed too. And people laugh when I say that, but I be dead serious. Like you got to, teach the enemies how they're supposed to act. Amen. So we are going to move right along in this show. I'm so excited to be interviewing you, Ikea. Reading your bio was a breathtaking read because I'm just she's still standing. Your past is crazy, bananas. And everybody knows we love testimony. We love stories. That's what the ministry, Tears to Purpose, is built off of. So to be able to have you here to kind of talk to you and interview you live here and to watch you as an overcomer, because you are a survivor and you are overcomer. So again, I want everybody who is watching to continue to tag, share with everybody, get everybody into the room, because it is now time to enter our interview time, and I am excited. So I'm going to turn this over to Miss Hubbard, and we're going to kick off your interview, and y'all just sit back like Netflix and chill. Just sit back. All right.
Okay, I just want to say welcome once again, Lakia. We are so happy to have you on the show. So we're just going to start off by asking you to just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here talking to you guys and telling you my story, and I hope I can help somebody, anybody. So today I'm 24 years old. I'm a mom of 3. I'm a boy mom. I have all boys. No girls in the cards for me. My children are 5, 2, and 6 months old. I still live in Washington, D.C. I just published a book, and that's where I am today. I guess we'll get more into where I came from during my interview.
Okay. So you have 3 boys. You said 2, 5, and 6?
Yes, ma'am. 5 years old,
Okay.
2 and 6 months.
Oh, 6 months.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. They're keeping you busy.
Always. Believe it or not, it's not even the baby. It's the older 2. The baby,
of course.
them older 2.
Yeah,
okay.
The other 2, they can run around and get into stuff. That's why it's so much with them. I know.
When I watch my baby, he just look at them back and forth like he can't wait to join in.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so like Lakia said, reading your bio, you've been through a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
So my first question is, what kept you going?
Okay, so honestly, my mother raised my younger brother and I really, really close. And we're a year and 9 months apart. So we've always been like this. She raised all of us close, but me and my baby brother have always been like this. And she told us before she passed, whatever happened to your brother, better happen to you. She told me protect my baby brother and my older brothers to protect us. So when I wanted to give up, and I have dealt with suicidal thoughts and things like that in my adolescence, not so much in my adult life, but growing up as a child, I just was like, if I leave, who's going to protect my baby brother? Mm-hmm. And then when I had my children, it was just like, I can't leave my children. They need me. Nobody is going to be me for them. I can't leave them.
Right. That's right. You only get one mom, no matter what.
And then not only that, I couldn't think of a good enough way to kill myself. I was like, well, that's going to hurt. That's just my honest. I used to sit and contemplate, like, how am I do? I don't want to go out that way. That's too painful. I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, well, it must not be my time. And the last part of that is my mom had us in the church from a very young age. And the prayers of my church elders and my pastor really pulled me through a lot of stuff to where I couldn't give up. My pastor was just like, you woke up today, so he's not done yet. She told me, my story not for me.
That's
and if
right.
you cheating somebody else out of a blessing. There's somebody's soul out there that's attached to you, and you can't go nowhere yet. And so I was just like, well, I got to be here.
And that's the truth. I tell people all the time, we go through things, but it's not for us. It's for somebody else that's coming behind us to let them know that, hey, this is what I did, and you can do the same thing. You can make it. But first of all, the main thing is you have to know Christ. That's the main thing. You have to be saved. You have to believe in Christ. So, and pray. But you're going to be all right. I thank God that you didn't give up, that you didn't that go the other way.
I was taught those prayers. I was taught cope. I wrote a lot. And I heard a lot. You know, you get older and you stray from what you were taught, but you don't really depart. You might, try other things. But I never really left what I knew. And God has always revealed himself to me. He's always confirmed things to me. I've never been into a space to where I'm like, I absolutely don't hear God. And I probably heard him the most when I was furthest away from the church. Didn't take his hand off me. There's no other explanation. It's simply just God didn't take his hand off of me.
That's it, because purpose for you. And we thank God for that. Yes. So my next question was, like I said, you've been through a lot. So, okay, let me just say this. Okay, it says in your bio that you were 2 months pregnant when you graduated, but you got your CNA certificate.
Yes.
And you also worked as a shampoo assistant.
Yes, ma'am.
So that sounds like a lot of determination to me.
So
my question is, and that's excellent. My question was, where did you get that determination?
I really feel like, okay, my mom was a determined woman, but my mother died when I was 7 years old. Now, of course, there's you get things passed down to you. You get ways from your parents and things like that you're not aware of. But honestly, my mother's mother is who raised me. And that was one thing I could say about my grandmother. She was really determined. She was strong-minded. She was strong-willed. And I never seen my grandmother give up along the lines of raising us. She lost 2 children, my mom and my uncle. I don't even think it was a full 4 years apart. My uncle passed in like 2001. My mother passed in 2004. So she instilled that in me from a young age, to be strong, to be determined, and you got to get through stuff. And so that was just it. She made me get the job that I had. Believe me, when I was going into high school, I had no idea I was going to need that CNA certification so fast. I just knew I enjoyed taking care of people, and I took particularly to elder people because I was raised by elders. So that was just something I was into. And I just so happened to be going to a high school that offered it. And I went for the cosmetology program. We had a vocational academy that offered things like plumbing, carpentry, cosmetology, barbering, nursing. And I couldn't get into cosmetology. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do nursing. And that's how that came about. When I was 15 years old, my grandmother was just like, okay, you got to get a job. And I held on to that job all through high school. I'm still in touch with that woman to this day. My grandmother. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that I would be pregnant by the end of the year and I would need my job and my certification to take care of my baby. But like I said, God don't do nothing for no reason. Everything happens for a reason. So the Lord knew what I was about to go through, and he set it up to where I'd have a way to provide for this baby. And that was just that.
That's what I was going to say. That was a setup by God. And that was just a setup. He set all that up.
Yeah. I was definitely terrified when I discovered I was pregnant because, for one, I wasn't supposed to be having sex. Okay. My grandmother drilled that in me. You better not be having sex. Yeah. You better not be having sex. I had an older brother who was just like, Kia, if you all just tell me. I told him, he was like, okay, well, we can go get you on birth control. And by the time we got around to that, it was too late for birth control. Okay. I was already knocked up. Mm-hmm. But so that I was just like, well, I can't tell my grandmother I'm pregnant. I just can't disappoint her like that. Everybody in my family got pregnant young. And I always had it to be like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get pregnant at 16. Granted, I didn't. I was 18, but I still, fell into the generational curse. And I was just like, well, I know grandma, I already know what she told me. If I come in here pregnant, I got to go. The baby, like she done. She raised her kids. She raised her grandkids. She can't take no more. So I was just like, listen, you're going to have to do something. And I held on to that. I did not tell my grandmother I was pregnant, and I plotted and I schemed and I was going to figure it out.
You figured it out.
I figured it out. Learned some stuff the hard way, but I figured it out.
Yes. That's amazing. I thank you so much for what you shared with me. That's all my questions. I'll give it over to Lakia.
Thank you.
Wow. This is good, y'all. I hope y'all eating good or watching this thing. I'm trying to tell y'all this is some good stuff, okay? Yeah, this is some good stuff. So let me do some shout outs real quick to everybody that is watching. Shout out to Keisha Sharp. That is our graphic designer. Hi, Keisha.
Hey.
VP LaShawn Martin, Jeanette.
Hey, LaShawn.
Who else? Tamara Stewart. Yes,
Tamara.
my dad, Edward Young Sr. My aunt is watching, Cassandra Thompson. And some other folk. I can't really see everybody. Letta. I don't know who that is. Is that someone you know, Ikea?
Your leader? Yes, that's my best friend.
Lord, I'm so sorry. Y'all know I'm so bad today. But yes, thank you guys for watching.
That's my best friend.
Continue to share. So, Ikea.
Yes, ma'am.
What was one of the lowest points of your life? If you can think back, because you had a lot of a story.
I have a lot.
So what is the one point in your life that you can remember, like the back of your hands? It was just like, if God really didn't show up, I don't know what I would have done.
I would probably say when my virginity was taken from me, not when my molestation started, but when I actually started being penetrated. That was probably the lowest, most confusing point ever for me.
Mm-hmm. So when you're saying this, and I feel like this is hitting something in the spirit, I'm sorry, it's hitting something because this is a subject nobody wants to talk about, okay? But it's happening, and it's still happening.
It's happening a lot.
It's even worse now, probably, I don't even know. So how did you get through this? Because I feel like this is going to help somebody. Anybody that can be watching right now that may have a loved one that's been through this, they have been through it themselves. How did you get through that?
Honestly, I had become a really, really angry adolescent, and I found myself choosing violence a lot of the time. And I had put myself in a situation. I was 16, and I had beat up this girl, and I was facing criminal charges for it. So there really was no healthy way that I got through it because I was out of control for years. But I got to the point to where I was just like, I'm tired of being in trouble, and I'm tired of being angry. Like, somebody got to do something about this. And I had decided to stop telling the people who weren't helping me. And I told somebody who did decide to help me. And then my abuser ended up locked up anyway. That's how my abuse stopped. He had gotten locked up. And, once the family that I was under the impression knew, and I found out that they didn't, once they had got involved, and they was like, no, he can't come back in here. Like, this is not about to keep happening to her. She's 16. This has been going on since she was 7, 8 years old. No, he can't come back. And after that, that's when I really started to not get through it, but I started to accept, like, okay, this happened to me. Along the way in school, you talk to people, you make friends with people. I found myself coming in contact a lot with people who were having similar problems. And I couldn't figure out why these people were always drawn to me or coming to me, but that helped in a way. And then I had met my son's father and his family, you know, they embraced me. He embraced me. He was 16 years old. You know, at 16, what guy is like, okay, well, I'm going to accept this and I'm going to take this and we're going to help you through this. And I just took it one day at a time. I had an aunt who got me into therapy, and she went to, you know, the group sessions with me for a while. And of course, I went back to church. I got back into church, and that helped me. It was a lot of different things, but I had to come to terms with it first. I'm not going to say that I was good with it all along, because I wasn't. I still, even in my adult life, I struggle with it. I have things that trigger me. I know for a while, I wasn't promiscuous, but I wanted to have sex all the time. Mm. Like with my boyfriend, not with just anybody, with everybody, but that was like all the time. Like I learned now that was linked to my sexual abuse, that those type of behaviors come from things like that.
Well, you helping somebody when you said that.
People ask me how I got through it, and I'm just like, there's no right or wrong answer. That was my journey from 8 to 16. I was out of control. I got myself in trouble, and I realized my anger was a problem. Like, I can't keep acting like this. Like, okay, you're getting older. You know, before you was 13, you was 14, you get suspended from school a few days, and, you know, you go back to school and that's it. But once I turned 16 and I was like, oh, I was facing jail time. I had ended up in juvenile court with Judge Dawson. And for whatever reason, this judge really wanted to make an example out of me. I wasn't sure what I did to him, but he just was really like, you're not going home from this. But the Lord rescued me out of that situation, because this was just one of the instances where I really didn't instigate a situation. I really had ignored somebody. And the thing that saved me was Twitter. She had put her every move on Twitter, how she had plotted to fight me and this, that, and the third. And I had printed that out and I had brought it to court. And I was like, I didn't attack this girl. I can't help that I beat her up as bad as I did, but I didn't provoke the situation. And that got me out of that. But after that, I was like, yeah, I don't never want to feel that again. People coming up to the school, checking up on me to see if I'm in class, and, you know, all my classmates looking like, who is that? I had a teacher, Mr. Thomas, and he'd be like, Gordon, officers at the door for you. And I'm like, you gotta do that? Like, it was embarrassing. And my grandmother was really disappointed. And I really, to this day, I have this thing to where I don't want anybody disappointed in me. I don't want anybody mad at me. And because the women in my family had, you know, done so much wrong, I just was like, I don't want to be like that. And I don't want to make those mistakes. And I found myself making those mistakes, and it made me be really hard on myself about it. So I was just like, no. And then he was fine. Wasn't he? He's on drugs bad now and strung out, and I'm not happy about that. But at that time, it seemed like I was the only person going through hell. And I was just like, I don't like this. I don't want to feel like this. And then, you know, when I had my kids, I'm like, I can't put this on them. It's not they crossed the bear. I got to fix this. I got to get this together. I can't go through adult life like this. Mm-hmm. And that was just the drive that gave me to get through it. I listened to a lot of gospel. I listened to a lot of R&B. I love music and I love writing. So that was my thing, music and writing.
So one of the key things that I'm hearing you say that I think will definitely help so many is the fact that I love to hear when people say, you know what, I took the initiative, I went to therapy. I do that because, you know, we sometimes in our culture, we always hear, oh, who's going to a therapist? Not me. You go sit down and talk to somebody and spill your guts. But what people don't understand is you can have Jesus and a therapist. Like, it's fine. That's why they're put here. Now, would I tell you to go to anybody? No, because everybody ain't called to you. You understand what I'm saying? And you have to use discernment and use wisdom when it comes to those things, because everybody's not made for you. So I thank you for saying that, because some feel like they can't do that. You understand what I'm saying? And every family member, we ain't medically inclined to really hear what needs to be dealt with those traumatic experiences. Amen. So I just want to say thank you for saying that it's okay to go get a therapist.
It's okay. And I think it's necessary, because okay, the family I have, it was, first of all, people have to get past, they have to take their own journey with accepting that, okay, this may have happened while I was around. This happened under my watch. And a lot of the people in my family couldn't get past that first part. Your family really, they go through the denial, and they don't, nobody wants to be looked at different. Nobody wants you to blame them. And I didn't blame anybody initially. And then as I got older, you start to feel types of ways. But as I got older, I started to learn more of the story. That's crazy. It was happening to me, and I didn't know every layer of the story. But yeah, therapy is necessary. Yes, I love the Lord. I was brought up in the church, but sometimes Jesus, you need somebody you can see.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And the Lord responds, but sometimes, some people need that physicality of it.
Yes.
And you can't, it's not always going to be your family, because like I said, they in it with you, and some people can't get past their own stuff enough to help you. And then you got to understand that your family had a story. The people in your family had a story, and they had traumas before you, and they just might not be equipped to help you and deal with it. And you got to go somewhere else. But don't cheat yourself, because life is hard and life is painful, but life is not meant to be miserable, especially for those, who do love the Lord. I don't think, you're supposed to live a life of nothing but suffering, but you don't have to suffer. You can say, okay, I'm going to do something about this, because your emotions are your emotions. You control how you experience stuff after it's happened to you. You control how you deal with that type of stuff. So I just got into the mindset to where I was like, okay, this happened to me. It is what it is. I'm just not going to be a victim to it no more. I'm going to survive this.
Yes.
Once I got to that mindset, I did what I had to do to survive it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thank you for your bravery. I even thank you for just sharing different pieces of your story with someone, because this is helping. Hear what I'm saying? It's just like something shifted, and it's just like, yes, somebody needs to hear this. So I thank you for your bravery, and I thank you for, our paths. We don't get to choose.
No,
God is going to do something. Okay, like I tell people this all the time. Like, we don't get to choose this battle. But He gonna give us the endurance and the strength and everything that we need to get past it, because it's leading you to your greater. That's what it is. Okay, so I'm telling you this now.
You gotta be brave with this type of story, because my bravery came from rejection. A lot of people reject. That ain't happened to you.
Yeah,
you lying. That didn't happen to you. Especially, those closest involved. Now that didn't happen to you. You lying. So I had to be brave. I'm like, okay, can't nobody tell it for me. Can't nobody go through it for me. And obviously, some people not going to accept it and help me. I got to do it.
Yeah.
You just got to accept. Some people ain't going to accept you. Some people ain't going to accept your story. It don't mean it ain't your story. You don't got to read it. You can close my book.
So Ikea, tell us about this brand new project, this brand new book that you have. And also let the people know how they can find you and how they can find that book too, as well, as you're going into explaining it.
Okay, so my new book is called The Way That I Love You. It's an urban fiction novel, and it is fiction, but it's based off real events. It's based off real people. It's based off real things that I've encountered. Some stories, I've twisted and changed, but it's a really good read. And I feel like if anybody has ever, soul ties are real. I just want to throw that out there. Soul ties are real. And, covenant is real. Sex is a covenant. It's a form of covenant, and a lot of people don't realize it. And in my young life, I've encountered some soul ties that I had some trouble breaking, and they took me through some things. And lo and behold, I wanted to tell my story without telling on the people I was talking about. I didn't want them to know it was about them. I didn't want them to know I'm talking about you. But I got to get this off of me. And so lo and behold, The Way That I Love You came along. And it started out on Wattpad, which was a platform for writers, just as a hobby thing. I never intended for it to go anywhere. And my son's grandmother was just like, you have a gift. And God didn't give you your gift for no reason. You need to do something with it. There's a purpose for it. Even if the story fake, somebody gonna relate to it. You need to do something with it. You need to live your life. And she was just like, your gifts were given to you to make your life better. They're not here just because. And I was like, okay. So once I seen how it was doing out there on Wattpad, I was like, well, let me see if I could take this further. So I submitted it to a publisher that I had encountered earlier in my life. I did publish a book when I was in like 5th grade through my school. They had a program and my book just happened to go further than what the school's program was doing. And I remembered this publisher who, was looking at me, and I had found them out on the internet, and I sent the manuscript in and they accepted it. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this. And that's just how it happened. You guys can find me on Facebook at Ikea Gordon or The Way That I Love You. Preferably The Way That I Love You, because Ikea the person and Ikea the author are two different people. And you can find me on Instagram at The Way That I Love You _ Twitter, The Way That I Love You, LOV, capital U. And the book is on Amazon. It's on Target.com. You can find it on BarnesandNoble.com, the Dorrance Bookstore website. And I mean, yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Well, we thank you so much for this snippet of this story. And we thank you for being so brave to come on and speak about such a relevant topic. And we thank you for giving us information about your book. Y'all, make sure you guys go and purchase and support her book on all the platforms that she shared. Go follow her, see what she's doing and what she will be doing. So we thank you, Ikea Gordon, and we don't want this to be your last trip on this show. And of course, no, we're going to stay connected, period, because I just see God doing some stuff. Okay. So just know we on your radar for real.
I look forward to it.
We is on your radar. So we thank you for coming here to bless Tears to Purpose Real Talk with your voice and your story. And we speak many blessings upon your life. That it will never be the same after this. Okay. So thank you so much for coming on. Yeah. Thank you so much. All righty, y'all. So ta-da! We're on to our next guest, Miss Cassandra Hill. Welcome. Welcome.
Thanks so much for inviting me.
Yes. So I pray that your day has been going well. This was an awesome interview with Ikea Gordon. I'm just ecstatic by her story. And I'm looking at so many people that are connecting with it on here. So that is a beautiful thing to see so many people being touched by her story. So we are going to hold no longer the anticipation of this next interview. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Hubbard.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Miss Hubbard?
I'm fine, thank you. We want to thank you once again for coming on to the show. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. A little bit about me. I'm a Christian holistic wellness coach, as well as a master life coach, author, and speaker. I've been doing this ministry for 3 years now. Prior to me taking on this assignment that God has given me, I had a career as a gerontologist, and you may be thinking, what's a gerontologist? That's a person that specializes in the study of aging. And so I worked with the older adult community, helping to improve their quality of life. Did that for about a decade. And then life happened. I was diagnosed with systemic lupus. When I was diagnosed, like most people, you go to, yes, systemic lupus. And so when I got that diagnosis, like most people, I went to the doctor, got treatment, and the doctor thought that chemo drugs, steroids, this whole big pharma um thing was, he thought that was the best thing for me. So I did it and did it for a nice little while, but I wasn't getting better. I was getting worse. And one day I just woke up and I said to myself, I'm tired of being sick. And when that thought entered my mind, days later my life started to change. God blessed me to figure out a regimen that put me in remission with systemic lupus. I thank God that year 5, this year makes 5 years I've been in remission. And once I was healed, my next assignment was to help other women heal from their physical, emotional, and spiritual trauma. And so that's what I'm doing, just fulfilling the calling that God has placed on my life.
Okay, excellent. What's interesting to me is that you developed a regimen that helped you with the systematic lupus. Tell us about that.
With me having a background in healthcare, that gave me an advantage. So I went back to college and I started taking courses in health and wellness, learning more about holistic modalities that could help me improve my health. And the more and more I learned, I just became a guinea pig on myself. I figured I didn't have anything to lose since I was already not in a healthy state anyway. And so I just became a guinea pig on myself, started looking at what was helping and what wasn't helping. And it took a few months, and before I knew it, I was feeling better. And this just shows you the power of God, and He can do exceedingly abundantly above what we could even imagine. I knew I was feeling better, and I went back to the doctor. Thought I was going to get a transfusion because I was getting blood transfusions as well. So I went to get that done, and they did all my lab work prior to the transfusion, and everything tested normal. And I was like, I was surprised. I was like, I knew I was feeling better, but I didn't realize it was that.
Look
And
at God.
yes, just look at God at work. And now here I am. This May, for those who didn't know, this is Lupus Awareness Month. And here I am, just blessed to be in remission. I'm not on any medication for systemic lupus now at all.
Wow.
I'm
Thank the
blessed
Lord.
to be able to, yes, manage everything naturally.
So that's what I'm talking about, some natural stuff. All these pills, I'm not with that. I like the natural stuff. That's what I like. So I'm going to have to
Yeah.
contact you later on so we can talk about some stuff.
Yes,
'Cause
I'm
that's what
here
I need.
for it. Yes. Our bodies, when God made us, when He finished making creation, He said, this is good. So when we get back
That's what he said.
to
Yes.
closer to Him, the more and more closer we get to Him and figuring out what He has for us, physical, emotional, spiritual, we will be restored. The more and more we depend on man, that's when we have a downfall, because God has given us
Yes.
everything that pertains to life and godliness.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. So this wasn't one of my questions that I had in mind, but since you mentioned something about you were talking to the well, I'm sorry, pertaining to the elderly, you were helping them do things, I guess, naturally, help them to live longer.
No, I was helping them to live longer, but it wasn't naturally because at that time
Live
I
longer.
didn't have that arsenal of knowledge. So, as a gerontologist, traditionally in college, you're taught pharmaceutical. So, at that time, I didn't have the knowledge that I have now on the best practices to take care of yourself naturally.
Okay. Okay, so my next question was, what's your approach to empower women? How do you go about empowering women?
I think the first step to empowering ourselves is focusing on that mind, your mindset. Your mindset is so, so important. As I mentioned with me, my life changed when my thoughts changed. And so when we think about empowerment, we really want to focus on putting that positivity in your mind. And another thing I help women with is getting honed in on your support system. Those key people in your life that are either helping you grow and reach whatever destiny that God has for you, or the people who aren't, and you it's in your best interest to pull back from that or even withdraw altogether. But just helping women in the empowerment get control of their mindset and focus on those key relationships.
Mindset and focus on the key relationships. Is that what you said? Because you went out a little bit.
Yes, yes. That's exactly what I said. Focusing on those thoughts and the key relationships in your life. Generally is five people, the your inner circle, those five people who are closest to you and who are influencing what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. 5 people. Okay. I have to think about them 5 people. I think I have at least 4 of them in mind.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. So since Lakia is back, I'm gonna let her ask her questions. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Miss Gordon.
It was a pleasure.
Lakia.
So it has been interesting just sitting back listening to your story about systematic lupus. That is a very strong situation period. I know some people have gone through lupus and it is not a joke at all, like what it puts your body through. But so explain, to the people that are watching about like what is your process with women? Like how do you get them to like focus in on mind, body, soul? Because sometimes everybody may come to you and may be a different situation with them, but how do you get them to focus in on those things?
Sure. Generally, before a woman works with me one on one, she has done my course, my digital course, which is titled Mindset Reset. And that's really a good foundational way for you to start honing in on your thoughts and figuring out what you are doing that sabotages not only your personal life but also professional life. So generally after she's went through that course, she has a new framework, she has a checklist, she has some action plans on things that can help her propel in her life. And by the time she comes to me after she's completed that course, what we're doing propel one-on-one with the coaching, we're working on taking it to that next level. So then she has more of a customized way on, okay, these are my SMART goals. I highly recommend for all ladies to have those goals that's related to their personal and professional life. So we have those goals, or even if we don't have them, we'll work on them together, but at least have a way that you know that, okay, I'll use myself for example, because this is something that recently happened to me. I knew that I wanted to collaborate with women more. Um, that was one of the goals I set for myself during the pandemic, having more collaborations. And how that ended up manifesting was being part of a book anthology. And another goal I had for myself was becoming a best-selling author. So setting that goal for myself, God worked it out to where I was part of a book anthology where it was all women, all of us, and we were able to hit #1 on Amazon. So um although you may not have, like me, when I set that goal, I wasn't for sure what the collaboration would look like, but I knew that, okay, this is something I wanted to do. So we figure out what you want to do and then create a path on how it can happen. And then, of course, just trusting and believing in God as well, because one of the things that I do work with women on is how to draw closer to God on a daily basis, to where, like, for me, I look at my company, Holistic Living Consulting, although it's my name that's on that state registration, this is really God's business, and I'm just a vessel. So we work together on having that plan where you fully dependently trust him. Of course you got to do the work, but you're trusting him, and he's aligning his will for what you're doing on a daily basis to make his will come true in the natural.
So good. So, tell everybody how they can find you. Not only that, but about your book, how they can find them, and what to expect. What do you want your readers to kind of take from when they read this book that you have teamed up with? And just give everybody all the info to find and connect with you after this.
Sure. You can find me online, my website, CassandraRHill.com. That's basically CassandraRHill.com. Just my name with a R in the middle for my middle name. CassandraRHill.com. There on my website, you'll see all my books. My latest book, The Higher Level Method book anthology, and as well as the rest of my books as well. You'll find it there on my website. And all my books are available on Amazon as well, but you can go straight to my website, CassandraHill.com, and find the books there, as well as learn more about me and how we can potentially help you live a healthier and happier life. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram at Live Healthy for Life. Live Healthy for Life. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Live Healthy for Life. You'll get tips on how you can take better care of yourself, focusing on that physical, emotional, and spiritual health. It is no good to have all this success if you do not have health. It is useless. So you'll get tips on how you can take care of the temple that God has given you. Connect with me. Facebook, Instagram, Live Healthy for Life, and find me online at CassandraRHill.com.
Well, we thank you so much for coming to be a blessing to Tears to Purpose. Real talk. I know that between you two ladies, Ikea and you guys have really dropped some real story points here that we're all probably going to be sitting here marinating on after it's all said and done. But we thank you for your authentic voices in this hour to be able to come forth with a solution. You definitely have a solution to many people's problems. And one thing I hear you say is that you can't even, how you being a vessel of God and you not even taking care of the body and the temple that he has given you. So that is key. Okay, that is key.
Amen.
Nothing else. That is key. And you are a survivor also of something that literally shuts down your system. And you're sitting here and you're saying that, you know, through the leading of God, how God has shown you how to help you through something like this. So it's so many lives that I can see you saving just from simple tips and simple changes. So we thank you. And we pray that you will be back when you have projects and things like that. And we will hope to collaborate with you as well in what we do, because we deal with so many different women, different walks of life. And I think it just will be dope, period. So we thank you for blessing Tears to Purpose with your voice, your sound, your knowledge, your wisdom on all that you are doing. And we speak blessings upon your life. So we thank you for coming today.
Well, I thank you so much, Lakia, for the invitation. I believe this platform, Tears to Purpose, is saving lives. You know, anyone out there, whatever tears you're crying now, just know that there is a purpose for your pain. I never in a million years would have thought that systemic lupus would have birthed this. I thought, man, you know, here I am. I done went to college, got all these degrees, got to leave my career. And he has shown me that there's so much more in store, you know, being able to birth a business, to have a ministry where I'm able to help women have a better quality of life, having books and, you know, just being able to touch people. But it came from pain. So just know that the tears you're crying now, it can release a healing that you never ever imagined or expected. So thank you, Lakia, for creating this platform. I look forward to us doing more together down the road.
So thank you so much for joining us.
Be blessed.
Experts Christian relationship as people in ministry that have a phenomenal story, all kinds of